exactly like Pablo said, you have to choose. Do you want to do 5 Netracells or do you want to do 2 Deep Archimedias and 1 Netracell?
No, sorry. Three
keys.
Netracells and
3 Netracells.
so for the Archimedia, you only pay once and
Yeah.
you can play it however many times you want, but the rewards are 5.
So, Warframe's new upcoming game mode has caused just a little bit of confusion following the dev stream in relation to rewards and how they work, and I guess the game mode's replayability, based off the dev stream showcase where Rebecca first started explaining it and then Pablo explained it a little bit differently. So let's go over Deep Archimedea in detail, shall we? Deep Archimedea is coming with Dante Unbound next month, but we don't have a date. It is a set of simultaneous high-level endgame missions that are locked behind rank 5 of the Cavia Syndicate. So you need to be rank 5 or you can't run these missions. It will cost you 2 Netracell keys per week to unlock, which leaves you with 3 keys for your remaining Netracell missions, or you can just run the 5 Netracell missions and ignore Deep Archimedea, entirely up to you. But once Deep Archimedea is unlocked, you are free to run it as often as you want for that week. These 3 missions run back to back for Deep Archimedea. There is no break in between. There is no weapon or Warframe swapping in between either. It's basically Deep Rock Galactic's Elite Deep Dives. It's in that same mold. It's a weekly game mode similar to Sorties with restrictions and research modifiers. Now, restrictions like having empowered enemies going up against you, no consumables for you or your teammates, or no respawns, and modifiers like asking you to pick certain Warframes or weapons similar to how you would in circuit runs, but also personal modifiers that will reduce your shields, give you low ammo, give you no healing. Accepting these modifiers will increase the research bar at the bottom of the mission select screen and also increase the rewards that you get in a single run. But you can only get 5 rewards out of Deep Archimedea missions per week. This is where some of the confusion was coming from, and I have been getting a lot of questions in my dev stream recap video, but also in Twitch chat as well. So, do you only get rewards for the first time that you run the mission? Not necessarily. Will it cost extra keys for you to run each time you want to run a Deep Archimedea mission? No. Do I need to use the modifiers on offer? Some of them, yes, or you can't fill the bar at the bottom of the screen in order to get those rewards. So I did reach out to Rebecca just for some minor clarifications. It will cost you, like I said, 2 Netracell keys per week to unlock. There are 5 rewards on offer every week. And if you only get 3 rewards on your first run because maybe you didn't like the Warframe or weapons on offer, then you are free to try remaining missions to get those last 2 rewards on your 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th or so on runs of that mission. So you can keep trying until you get the 5 rewards on offer per week. You don't need to get them in a single run, but a full run with all modifiers will give you the best rewards. The research and the personal modifiers on the left of the screen when you're on mission select are also, like I said, kind of semi-optional. You want to fill the research bar up as much as possible at the bottom of the screen, which means picking some of the modifiers or all of them if you're confident enough that you can run all 3 missions without, I guess, failing. These are the 2 silver rewards, which are pulled directly from the Netracell Drop Table, and then there is a gold reward for filling the bar out, which is a better chance at rare rewards like Tauforge shards and so on. The final tier, which is all the way to the right of the screen at the end, that number 29, requires you to fill out all of the research and personal modifiers, will give you a guaranteed Legendary Arcane from, I guess, the Netracell Drop Table, which are super rare right now. So just to quickly recap, right, the mission type costs 2 Netracells per week. You can get 5 rewards from the Deep Archimedea and 3 from Netracells, which gives you 8 in total. You can run Deep Archimedea missions as often as you want until you get those 5 rewards. The missions are back to back to back with no break in between, so you need to plan ahead as they will be hard. Selecting modifiers will fill up the research bar at the bottom of your screen and increase your rewards, but if you don't have a good Warframe on offer or a good weapon, then maybe you could just not pick those and go for less rewards per run, which means having to run the mission type more than once, but that is again entirely up to you. Enemies will be much higher level than what they are on Netracell missions. We don't know the exact level because on the dev stream it was all work in progress numbers. So it is not a new player mission type. You're talking level 300 plus maybe, and it is a mission type with the special modifier. So again, not normal mission parameters. It will also have an elite version of the game mode, which we don't really know much about yet. We haven't seen that, but guaranteed it's going to be much harder. But it's another mission type to add into your current end game loop, which is not something we've been able to say with Warframe for a very long time. I'm thinking all the way back to when raids were a thing, but Warframe has a decent loop of end game missions for you to be running. Granted, it is another weekly mission, it's not a daily one, and of course it isn't a raid, but it is nice to see that the current dev team are looking at ways to implement end game stuff in relation for veterans, whereas up until this point, or up until maybe a year, 2 years ago, everything was pretty heavily aimed towards new players. Now, the new team, of course, in DE are also focusing on new players and fixing, I guess, the grind with some of the, I guess, quality of life changes that they've done in the last few updates. But it's nice now to see that they're also putting end game content to the forefront as well. But there are still a few kind of minor questions I would like maybe clarified. Like when it comes to the Warframes and weapons that we have on offer for these missions, right? The research modifiers, will it pull directly from the Warframes and the weapons that you own? Or will it offer us Warframes or weapons that maybe we don't have? Maybe they mentioned this and I missed it. Kind of like what the circuit can do, where you get those kind of rent-a-frames. I doubt it, because that would be maybe a little bit too harsh, but it is still something worth asking. Again, if I missed them saying this, I do apologize. However, the endgame mission will mean that there will be times when you will get offered a few Warframes or weapons that you might not have a good build on, or might not be capable of killing level 300 plus enemies, which means now we have to start multi-formatting items that you might not necessarily ever want to use in order to bring them on these missions. Because there is times when you get offered 4 or 5 weapons and frames in circuit runs that are completely no good, and you don't have a build on any of them, and you kind of have to scrap it off as a failed run and you have to go again. Which I get, it's part and parcel of accepting an end game type of mission, and it is optional, but it is something to look into as well. We have got over 300 weapons, we have got 50 something Warframes, so you're going to get items that you might not necessarily use quite a lot, I would assume. But either way, I am actually really looking forward to getting a new endgame mission type of loop to jump into. So with that being said, let me know in the comment section below if you have any questions, what you think of the upcoming game mode, if you're looking forward to it or not. Have a great day, have a great week, and as always, thanks for watching.